Hello there, very good evening and welcome to your Primetime News Bulletin. I'm Shane Silva.
I'm Stephanie Lazarus. Before we go into stories in detail, let's start off with a look at tonight's headlines.
Newsfirst correspondent Chandana Kurupuarachi injured while attempting to cover a clash between UPFA and UNP supporters in Haliyala. Tisatha Nayaka resigns from UNP Leadership Council, will continue to function as General Secretary. Family members and relatives of major politicos elected in Badulla and Munaragala. A large number of former provincial councillors lose their seats in this year's Uva Provincial Council election. Sri Lanka Human Rights Commission to scrutinise the standards of the Advanced Level Economics Question Paper and Action TV expose. 2 fundamental rights petitions lodged with the Supreme Court with regard to the position of shaman of the Ruhunu Kataragama Mahadevalaya.
On to your top story tonight, a clash broke out between a group of UPFA and UNP supporters in Haliyala, Badulla early this evening. Newsfirst correspondent Chandana Kurupuarachi was injured while attempting to cover the altercation. The police say that the situation in Haliyala has been brought under control and that further investigations are underway. The clash broke out this evening between a group of UPFA and UNP supporters, and several persons who were injured in the clash have been admitted to the Badulla hospital. A spokesperson in the hospital added that they had been admitted to the wards for further treatment. Speaking to Newsfirst from his hospital bed, Chandana had this to say.
I heard that the UNP office in Haliyala was being attacked, and I went there to cover the incident. The party office had been attacked. Everything had been destroyed and there was a fire. I recorded everything. A little while later, they went near the Pradeshya Sabha and there was a brawl between both sides. They were using large clubs and stones, so I kept some distance and I kept recording everything. They asked me to stop recording. Chandana could not go on as he was having difficulty speaking owing to facial injuries.
Newsfirst also spoke to police media spokesperson SSP Ajithrona.
A vehicle procession had been proceeded to Badulla from Bandaravela. At that time, the procession had been attacked by a group of persons who are near Pradesh Sabha of Haliyala. And in addition to that, Newsfirst journalists also injured in the incident. SSP Badulla has initiated investigation. A special police team has been deployed in order to conduct the investigation. We are receiving the videos and visuals in respect of the incident. Accordingly, we could identify the perpetrators, and we are going to stern action against the perpetrators.
The topic of politicos' family members entering the political fray became a topic of discussion once again in the run-up to and during the Uva Provincial Council poll. Katrina Chang joins us with an analysis of how these family members performed in the election.
Good evening, I'm Katrina Chang. Let's first take a look at the Munragala district. Now, 6 out of 8 UPFA provincial councillors who elected to the Uva province from the Munragala district had family connections to major politicos. Now, majority of these politicians are currently in parliament.
The UPFA chief ministerial candidate Shashendra Rajapaksa, who contested from the Munragala district, is the son of Speaker Chamal Rajapaksa. While Shashendra Rajapaksa topped the UPFA list in the district, Kumarasiri Ratnayaka came in second. Kumarasiri is a relative of Minister Sumedha G. Jayasena. Minister Sumedha G. Jayasena's son Salia Sumedha Silva was also elected from the Munragala district this time around. Also among the provincial councillors elected is Udaro Soisa, the son of Minister Vijit Vijayamuni Soisa. Former Minister Dharmadasa Banda's son Harin Dharmadasa was also elected to the Uva Provincial Council from the UPFA. UPFA candidate Senrat Attanayaka, who was also elected to the council, is also a relative of Dharmadasa Banda.
In the Badula district, certain candidates from the UMP and UPFA had family ties to major politicos.
Anra Vidanagamage, who topped the UPFA list in the district, is the brother of UPFA MP Tenuku Vidanagamage. A nephew of Minister Arumugam Tondaman, Senthil Tondaman, was also elected to the council. A.M. Buddhadasa, the father of MP Champik Buddhadasa and the husband of the Uva Paranagama Pradesh Sabha chairperson, was also elected from the UPFA list. Harin Fernando, who topped the UNP list and the Badula district as a whole, is the grandson of former Minister Vincent Dias. The son of UNP parliamentarian K. Velayudham Rudradeepan, was also elected to the Uva Provincial Council from the UNP list. Two nephews of Percy Samaravira, Minister of Home Affairs in the 1977 cabinet, Upali and Ravindra, were elected to the Uva Provincial Council from the UNP.
While several persons who had family ties were elected to the Uva Provincial Council, several former provincial councillors lost their seats.
Hannadige Sumit, Manil Ratnayaka, A.R. Bandhusena, Ajit Deshapriya, Ajit Lienage, R. Gunawardana, Javira Gunatilaka, Aravinda Kumara and Nimal Ratnayaka, who contested from the Badula district on the UPFA ticket, all lost their seats. Tushara Mihimal Munasinghe and Vishwanath Kulatunga, who contested from the UNP ticket from the Badula district, also lost their seats. Sugat Balagalla, who was elected from the JVP in 2009, did not succeed in retaining his seat. Dayaratna Bandara, who contested on the UPFA ticket from the Munragala district, also lost his seat. While 182 independent group candidates contested the Uva Provincial Council poll from the Badulla and Munragala districts, as a result of failing to secure the required quota of votes, their bonds of 2,000 rupees each will be appropriated by the state. Hema Ratnayaka, the only female UPFA candidate who contested for the Uva Provincial Council, was elected from the Badulla district.
UNP Uva Provincial Council candidate Roy Kalinga and one of his supporters were attacked in the Attilivava area in Ballavaya.
The police stated that the incident took place at around 1:30 this morning when an unidentified group attacked them while they were asleep in a motor vehicle. The two victims were admitted to the Munragala hospital.
I parked my vehicle along the banks of Attilivava and fell asleep. At around 1 a.m. a group armed with poles attacked my vehicle and smashed the windows while my friend Dilan and I were still inside. I saw a Samurdi officer. There were around 20 to 25 masked people with metal poles. They also had a T-56 weapon which they put inside the vehicle and told me that they will shoot me in the head. Then they hit me with a pole and I started bleeding. They thought I was dead and they hit me on the leg as well. They continued to level death threats at me. We both were unconscious. We ran to a house close by and then they took us to a hospital.
The police stated that a group of 20 individuals assaulted them and damaged the motor vehicle. According to police media spokesperson SSP Ajit Rohana, a special police task force together with the Ballavaya police have launched investigations in order to nab the perpetrators. Meanwhile, the mayor of Bandaravela and 4 others handed themselves over to the magistrate's court in relation to clashes between UPFA supporters on election day. Police media spokesperson SSP Ajit Rohan added that the suspects were later released on bail.
The mayor and the other suspects who turned themselves in were released on a cash bail of 5,000 rupees and sureties of 200,000 rupees. Thereafter, the police report was presented before courts. We requested that involved parties, provincial councillors and those who assisted in carrying out such malicious acts be arrested. The police said they will fulfill our request in the coming few days.
Meanwhile, 2 suspects who stated that a group including chairman of the Haldamulla Pradesh Sabha assaulted an individual with a sword were taken into custody. According to the police media spokesperson, the chairman, who is also a suspect, has fled the area. He added that a special team has been deployed to arrest him. An unidentified group attacked the residence of JVP candidate for the Uva Provincial Council, Andra Kumar Wickramasinghe, located in the Obeguda area in Dabagala yesterday.
Politicians expressed following views with regard to the Uva Provincial Council elections.
We
said that we would win this election. We weren't scared. We not only said that we will win, but we also challenged the opposition, the UNP and the JVP. I asked them to bet on it. I bet on the Western Provincial Council election and the Southern election as well. I said I would cut off my left ear, but no one accepted it. This time I told I would cut off my right ear. There is no one for the opposition, not even the UNP. There is no one left to sacrifice stand of hair, let alone an ear or an arm or leg. The UNP used all the influence they had. They brought Ranil, Sajith, Karu Jayasuriya, Maitri Gunratna and Bakir Makar and did a massive campaign to show their power. They renewed the hopes of the former UNP supporters. Not only this, we witnessed that the best election campaign was carried out by Harin. Ministers and parliamentarians came here and helped out a little. However, we did not have a single strong candidate. Sarath Fonseca's Democratic Party is nearing its end. I believe that many of those who were given jobs by Minister Nimal have left their electorate and did not come for the elections because these were small elections. Dilan sent many persons to Korea to work. So I think that this affected the drop in votes. Today they are talking about percentages and are debating about it. But this is all happening because we changed society. We can now solve all of this, but many of you face troubles at home and as well as within the female populace. Now we have to strengthen the financial strength of families. When a family is burdened with economic difficulties, then they tend to take decisions they think could change this.
The Democratic Party also convened a media briefing in Colombo today.
We see this as an election result that was distorted by the government with government intervention using corrupt practices. We are certain that ballots that should have come to us have been placed in other boxes. Our representatives have seen several such instances. They have seen our votes being put into the beetle leaf box. We say it could have gone into any other box and not just the ones marked with the beetle leaf. It is the government that sends the list of counting officials to the Elections Commissioner. They are selected by the government. The government selects the people they want for this task. There was a corrupt plan. A secretary who was at the location informed us via another route that this was happening and that we would not receive a single seat. This was 3 days before the election. It is clear as day that this election was fraudulent. This has been done to destroy my image and portray this party as a defeated party to the public. We call on the people to reject these corrupt results.
At a media briefing convened at the Department of Government Information today, Minister Vimal Weerawansa, leader of the National Freedom Front, commented on the Uva Provincial Council election.
Prior to commenting on political affairs at this media briefing, which had been convened over affairs to do with his ministry, Minister Vimal Weerawansa requested public officials to leave the room.
එක්සත් ජාතික පක්ෂේ මන් දන්නේ හරි සතුටින් ඉන්න බව තමයි පෙන්වන්නේ.
I do not know why, but it appears that the United National Party is very happy. If they can be happy after being defeated, I wouldn't mind having happiness like that all the time. What did Harin Fernando say? Why did he leave Parliament? In order to win Badulla at the very least. So did Harin Fernando win Badulla? After the Ayasiri's departure, Harin was the only one left in the UNP who could be employed for something. He could be used in an emergency. Now he is finished. Harin is all alone in the hills.
If Harin Fernando and
Shashindra Rajapaksa contested from the same party, your question would be correct. Harin Fernando contested from the losing party. Shashindra Rajapaksa contested from the winning party.
As mentioned in your headlines tonight, General Secretary of the UNP, Tisattanayaka, has decided to step down from his position in the UNP Leadership Council. The parliamentarian announced his intention to step down from the position through a letter addressed to the national leader of the party, Ranil Wickremesinghe. Following the resignation of Tisattanayaka, Kabir Hashim and Ruwan Wijewardena remain the only individuals in the Leadership Council who did not join the UNP from other parties.
In his letter, Tisattanayaka states that he will continue to function as the General Secretary of the party. A copy of the letter which explains the circumstances behind the decision was also forwarded to MP Karu Jayasuriya. It notes that since the Leadership Council's inception, following the North-Western and Central Provincial Council elections in 2013, he served as a coordinator between the Council and the national leader. He goes on to point out that he was concerned about some of the ideas expressed and issues debated within the Council in the recent past. The parliamentarian notes that he dedicated himself to bringing Ranil, Karu and Sajid on the same stage on the 6th of September as per the wishes of the general public. However, Tisattanayaka notes that his efforts were ridiculed by some members of the Leadership Council, adding that Ravi Karunanayaka argued about his actions during a session of the Leadership Council. In his letter, Attanayaka goes on to reiterate that smear campaigns have been launched through a number of media outlets and websites, adding that there are also rumours that efforts are underway to remove him from the position of General Secretary. He notes that such statements being made by members of the Leadership Council are both degrading and a threat to him. Tisattanayaka in his letter notes that party members are calling for the appointment of Sajid Premadasa as the deputy leader of the party, adding that in his personal opinion, Premadasa is qualified to take up this role. The letter also notes that it is inappropriate for members of the Leadership Council to criticise the statements made by the national leader in Passara on this topic. Attanayaka adds that one must ponder over whether it is appropriate for the Leadership Council, which was established to foster unity in the party, should act as an obstacle to unity. He points out that criticising decisions taken at times by the national leader of the party constitutes a failure in the collective responsibility of the party.
In such a backdrop, I can no longer remain as a member of the Leadership Council in keeping with my conscience. I reiterate that I will dedicate myself to making the party emerge victorious and kindly request that I be freed from my responsibility as a member of the Leadership Council.
Coming up on the news tonight.
Welcome back to the news. Workers at the Kahatagaha graphite mine in Kurunegala commenced a hunger strike inside the mine. Our reporter says the hunger strike is taking place 1,132 feet underground.
The hunger strike was initiated by a group of workers at the Kahatagaha graphite mine in Dodamgaslanda, Kurunegala this morning. Our report says that about 70 miners are participating in the strike. The hunger strike was initiated citing several factors, including the failure to make permanent the positions of long-serving miners, safety concerns and the failure to increase wages.
We have safety concerns, and as far as we know, other companies have taken safety measures. The miners here are not from the United National Party or the Janatha Vimukti Peramuna. We are people who participated in rallies for the SLFP. We call on the Labour Minister and other authorities to turn their attention to this problem and resolve this for us.
Miners at the same graphite mine also staged a hunger strike on the 17th of April last year, citing the same demands. Miners engaged in the current hunger strike say that although promises were made that their issues should be resolved, these promises have not yet been fulfilled. 3 persons were injured and several vehicles were severely damaged when a tree fell on Kingsley Road, Colombo this afternoon.
A large tree located in front of the Postgraduate Institute of the Colombo Medical Faculty had fallen across the road to the National Hospital in Colombo. Our reporters say several vehicles, including 5 three-wheelers, were severely damaged in the incident.
As soon as I started the vehicle, I saw a tree falling, making a loud noise. I got out of the vehicle and tried to run, but I was rooted to the spot.
I saw the electricity cable falling. When I came out to see what was happening, I saw the tree falling on the vehicle. The injured are being treated at the National Hospital.
Up next is Action TV.
Flaws in this year's advanced level economic question paper and flaws in the marking scheme were the subject of an extensive discussion at the Sri Lanka Human Rights Commission today. A complaint lodged by the General Secretary of the Ceylon Teachers Union was taken up by the Human Rights Commission today. The Commissioner General of Examinations and 10 university lecturers have been cited as respondents in the complaint, which challenges the standard of the question paper and the marking scheme. The 10 university lecturers have been cited as respondents in this complaint on the basis that they submitted this letter to the Commissioner General of Examinations on the 30th of August. While giving a comprehensive analysis of the flaws in the question paper, the 10 lecturers request the Commissioner General of Examinations through this letter that he bring to the attention of the Chief Examiner of the Economic Examinations the need to correct the mistake that would cost students who sat for the examination 15 marks each. However, it was revealed at the hearing today that the Commissioner General had not brought the matter to the attention of the Chief Examiner. A major factor that was exposed during the hearing today is that the marking scheme for the examination is also flawed. The hearing, which lasted longer than 3 hours, was presided over by the President and several commissioners of the Human Rights Commission. The Commissioner General Examinations and 5 of the 10 university lecturers representing the Colombo, Ruhuna and Peradeniya universities attended the inquiry today. The Commissioner ordered the lecturers today to prepare a report containing the factors that came to light at the inquiry today and submit it to the Commission, copied to the Commissioner General of Examination within 3 days. As per the orders of the Commission, the Commissioner General of Examinations must submit responses to the Human Rights Commission within a week of receiving the lecturer's report. The Commission decided to convene all factions a week after the Commissioner General of Examination files his responses.
We wish to clearly state that we will continue with this struggle until justice is done to the students of this country. We expect a fair decision from the Human Rights Commission. Nevertheless, as was evident when we intervened in the matter of the Z scores, we have a responsibility. As per that responsibility, we will continue this course of action until justice is done for the students who sat for the 2014 Advanced Level Economics paper.
Two fundamental rights petitions have been lodged with the Supreme Court requesting determinations against a previously determination of the court with regard to the position of shaman at the Ruhunu Kataragama Mahadevalaya. Making submissions with regard to the petitions, attorneys at law Upul Jayasuriya and Salia Piris noted that such action was unprecedented.
In 2005, the Mount Lemina District Court determined that under terms of settlement, an individual identified as Padmasiri Ranjit Adhikaram had a right to function as a shaman at the Ruhunu Kataragama Mahadevalaya. The Civil Appellate High Court later quashed an appeal in this regard filed by the then Basnaik Nilame, or chief layperson of the Kataragama Devalaya. When an appeal was filed against this determination in the Supreme Court, a 3-member bench quashed the appeal, confirming Padmasiri Ranjit Adhikaram's right to function as a shaman at the Devalaya. The determination was handed down by a bench comprising of Justices Shirani Tilakavardhana, Chandra Ekanayaka and Priyasad Deb. Against this backdrop, a shaman at the Kataragama Devalaya, Dayananda Adhikari, and a secretary at the Presidential Secretariat, Padmasiri Rajapaksa, have once again filed fundamental rights petitions before the Supreme Court. Both petitions were taken up today before a 3-member bench of the Supreme Court comprising of Justices K. Sri Pavan, Sarat Diabru and Priyanta Jayawardena. Representing Padmasiri Ranjit Adhikaram in court today, attorneys at law Upul Jayasuriya and Salia Piris submitted that the petitions should be considered by the same bench that handed down the determination at the previous occasion. They submitted further that another justice could be appointed to the bench only in the event that a justice on the previous bench had since retired. However, the Supreme Court ordered that since Chief Justice Mohan Pires had determined that he himself should examine the petitions would be taken up before a bench headed by him on the 13th of October.
Up next is Crime Watch.
A father had stabbed his son to death in the Unanviti area in Gaul between 10 and 11 p.m. last night. The police say that the murder was prompted by an argument that broke out between the father and the son when the son returned home after a party. The deceased 30-year-old Samit Dilan Kongahage was a father of a 4-month-old infant. The police say that the victim's father has been arrested in connection with the murder. Meanwhile, a son who attempted to save his father died after being attacked with a sharp weapon in Atugoda, Galikamua. The incident occurred at about midnight yesterday. Two masked men who arrived at the residence last night had attempted to attack the father with a sharp weapon. The deceased had attempted to save his father but was set upon by the attackers. The victim was 31-year-old Chandana Tushara Dematagolla. Our reporter says that only the father and son were home when the incident occurred and that the victim's pregnant wife was at her family residence. The police have commenced investigations to apprehend the two suspects.
Welcome back to the news. Still in local news, a photography exhibition depicting atrocities committed by the terrorist group ISIS or the Islamic State in Iraq and Syria and measures taken by Iraqi forces to combat the group was held in Colombo today.
The exhibition, organized by the Embassy of Iraq in Colombo, was attended by a distinguished gathering including intellectuals and members of civil society. Senior Minister H.M. Fauzi and Governor of the Western Province Alavi Maulana also visited the exhibition today.
Thank you. You are the first. They destroy our heritage, they destroy the shrines, mosque, and they did so many things which is against our Muslim principles. And this exhibition as a step to explain to people that this is not our real religion. At the end of the day, definitely Iraqi people and Iraqi forces with the coordination with other international forces and other regional forces will defeat ISIS.
And on sports first tonight, China is leading the medals table at the 17th Asian Games with 25 gold medals, and host South Africa are second with 14 gold medals. Sri Lanka's Chintana Sheetal Vithanage did not succeed in completing the 69-kilogram weight class weightlifting event at the Asian Games in Incheon, South Korea today. Chintaka failed to complete the clean and jerk lift in all his 3 attempts, and India's Deepika Pallikal won bronze in the women's squash event. She was defeated by the #1 ranked player in the world, Malaysia's Nicole David. The Ceylon Electricity Board said that the Treasury is yet to provide the CEB with recommendations on reducing electricity tariffs by 25%. The chairman of the CEB, W.B. Ganewala, said that once they receive the recommendations, they will be forwarded to the Public Utilities Commission.
The government decided to reduce electricity tariffs by 25% subsequent to the completion of the Norochole power plant. Chairman of the Ceylon Electricity Board, W.B. Ganegala, said that the 25% tariff reduction will take effect from the 16th of this month. However, he added that the recommendations on the revised electricity tariffs should be forwarded by the Ministry of Finance, and added that the new charging system will be prepared once the recommendations are put forth to the Public Utilities Commission. Meanwhile, the National Electricity Consumers Movement said that the failure to announce the new electricity tariff structure remains an issue.
තවමත් මේ සහනය කොයි ආකාරයෙන්ද ලැබෙන්නේ කියන එක ගැන විදුලි පාරිභෝගිකයෝ ඉන්නේ දෙගිඩියාවක.
The electricity consumers are doubtful as to how this relief will be provided. That is why we would like to stress on the fact that this is a responsibility of the authorities to grant this relief according to a proper scientific formula. By granting a 25% relief, the rich are at an advantage over the poor. A need has arisen to provide relief to the populace who have been utilizing power scarcely. If this is implemented without the use of a proper structure, then the CE will once again attempt to use the excuse of incurring losses and obtaining bank loans to increase the electricity tariffs. That will lead to the consumer being tossed from the frying pan to the fire.
බල මණ්ඩලයේ බැංකු වලට ණය වෙනවා කියලා මේ විදුලි බිල වැඩි කරන්නම මේ බලධාරීන්ම මේ පාලකයන්ම අනාගතයේදී ක්‍රියා කරන්න පුළුවන්. එතකොට වෙන්නේ පාරිභෝගිකයා කබලෙන් ලිපට වෙන්නේ.
Well, that's a wrap for Primetime News at 9. It was an absolute pleasure having you with us. I'm Stephanie Lazarus.
And I'm Shen Silva. Take care and good night.